The reporter is called off the story. Her superiors decide that the report first has to be revised by the Fox News lawyers and Monsanto.
The lawyers would say, you know, say what Monsanto says, it doesn't matter what you found, put in this, don't use the word cancer. What ended up being a re-review process went into 8 months and 83 different versions of this story, which is unheard of. Nobody does that. The end result of this 8 months of re-editing the piece was that they fired us at the first window in our contract.
The hormone is still on the market in the United States, and pigs all over the world are today fed primarily feed made from genetically modified plants. Trucks with genetically engineered soy meal are on the roads around the clock, like here in the port of Fredericia in Denmark. Per Digge imports the animal feed from Argentina. He has now been sued for patent violations by Monsanto. In Argentina, the biotech giant introduced its genetically modified plant on a grand scale, according to its familiar pattern. But it was unable to obtain a patent or demand licensing fees there. Since the company does have a patent in Europe, however, it wants to collect the fees here after the fact. The Danish importers are appalled and refuse to pay. They see themselves as a pawn in an economic power struggle. Argentinian patent law does not allow for the patenting of genetically engineered organisms, and the country has so far managed to stand up to the political pressure coming from North America.
At have en GMO-fri produktion i Danmark jo faktisk ikke muligt i dag. Og vi kan bruge eksempler fra Sverige og Norge og Finland, hvor de har GMO-fri produktion. I svineproduktionen har de store problemer i de lande. Det skyldes primært, at den merpris, man skal betale for at få GMO-fri soja, er steget år efter år. Det går kun i en retning, og det skyldes igen, at den GMO-frie sojaproduktion i Sydamerika og Nordamerika udgør efterhånden så lille en del af den samlede produktion, så mulighederne for at få den GMO-frie vare ud til en fornuftig pris bliver ringere og ringere. Omkostningen til sporbarhedssikkerhedsstillelse og lignende stiger simpelthen voldsomt.
The Danish importer knows that the penetration of whole regions with genetically modified feed is irreversible. Proving that pig feed is biologically pure is virtually impossible to finance. And the fear remains that, to top it all off, they could lose the lawsuit against Monsanto. On the way to the slaughterhouse, pumped full of genetically modified feed. The meat doesn't even have to be labeled as such when it comes onto the market. The long-term consequences for the consumer remain to be seen. But Monsanto's intention is clear, a patent on pig genes. And what's next after that? Will any risks be avoided in the future?
Monsanto and some of these companies have something very different in mind. They don't want to change their technology to fit life. They want to alter life so it fits their technology and their profit.
Yeah, maybe you can genetically engineer the pig to be better if they use the genetically engineered products, and you just have an inline monopoly on this. Yeah, sure, that can happen.
These pigs should not be forced to eat genetically modified feed, nor should their offspring later be genetically engineered.
Also wir schauen jetzt bei der Luise, das ist eine unserer ältesten Tiere hier mit einer ganzen Herde Ferkel, und bei der wollen wir uns auch mal schauen, ob an diesem alt angestammten schwäbisch-hessischen Schwein aus einer alten Linie auch diese Gene mit drin vorkommen. So, einmal, zweimal.
Christoph Zimmer dares to test his own pigs. He has hesitated for a long time to test them for the gene marker for which Monsanto is claiming a patent. Monsanto is not alone. and laboratories around the world, the race is on for patented pig DNA. Thanks to the help from the Chinese, the Danish have already made a great deal of progress, as have the Germans. If a company succeeds at exercising near total control over pig breeding, thanks to a wide-ranging patent, it could legally begin to genetically engineer the animals as well, something that Monsanto has already done with plants. A nightmare for nature conservationists, a lucrative vision for industry.
Man kann sich durchaus vorstellen, dass man analog zur Pflanzenbiotechnologie auch für die tierische Produktion eben fremde Gene in Tiere einschleust.
A way to simply correct small flaws of nature in order to boost production. And the result? The super pig.
Ich glaube nicht, dass es das Superschwein geben wird. Es wird möglicherweise mehrere Superschweine geben, die eben entsprechend den jeweiligen Produktionsbedingungen und auch den Anforderungen der Märkte optimal produzieren können.
If there only weren't that annoying problem of the declining birth rate among pigs and cattle. Genetic scientist Wolf, who doesn't believe the culprit can be genetically modified feed, has launched a new experiment with cows.
Die Kiki trägt ein zusätzliches Gen, das ursprünglich aus einer Qualle kommt. Dieses Gen kodiert für ein grün fluoreszierendes Protein oder abgekürzt GFP. Wenn wir sie jetzt bei Dunkelheit mit blauem Licht anleuchten würden, wird sie tatsächlich eine grüne Schnauze haben. Für uns ist die Kiki deswegen interessant, weil wir von ihr Embryonen erzeugen können, die ebenfalls grün fluoreszieren. Und diese Embryonen können wir dann in einem sehr frühen Stadium im weiblichen Geschlechtstrakt lokalisieren und können so Wechselwirkungen zwischen dem Embryo und dem Muttertier sehr gut untersuchen.
In the USA, environmental activist Jeffrey Smith has heard about another experiment. He therefore pays another visit to Jerry Roseman, the ruined pig farmer. Roseman is disappointed with himself and with the fact that he believed the promises of the genetically modified feed producers.
I tried to do the right thing. You know, I was one of the technology people. You know, I was right on the cutting edge of everything for the farm, you know, because this is what we were told to do. And ultimately, you know, they lied to us. We were told that these products were safe when we were handed them to us, and ultimately I found out that there's virtually no testing, and anyone that comes up with any kind of a problem whatsoever with it, there's absolutely no cooperation other than to bury them in paper and make them go away.
Now Roseman is doing the tests himself without outside help. He has been able to squirrel away some of the genetically modified corn which he is now occasionally feeding to a few cattle.
And these animals 4 years ago were sterile. We got them off of the corn, got them on green grass, and they were reproduced fine. This last winter I went ahead and started to experiment again and fed them the problematic corn here. And at the present time these 3 cows are barren and the bull is basically sterile. And that was after feeding the corn to them for approximately 90 days. And here next week we'll take them back off of the corn, and eventually the bull will come back to being viral, and the cows most likely will conceive a calf for next year. And this is what I've determined myself here with the limited funding that I can do myself.
Die ganz kleinen Züchter werden bis auf wenige Ausnahmen in der Tat wahrscheinlich aussterben.
Only a few consortiums will remain as winners in the battle of the pig. This is what Christoph Zimmer fears. But he wants to make life difficult for them for as long as he can. He visits the test laboratory to find out here whether his own livestock could be affected by Monsanto's patent application.
Die Ergebnisse zeigen, dass die Varianten, die in dem Patent beschrieben sind, schon jetzt in der Natur vorkommen. In ihrer Herde finden wir alle 3 möglichen Varianten, TT, CT und CC.
Könnte ich dann hinterher bei Ihnen im Labor beweisen, dass ich nicht nach der Methode von Monsanto gezüchtet habe?
Das ist der springende Punkt, das geht nicht mehr. Die Nachkommen der getesteten Tiere sind nicht zu unterscheiden von den Tieren, die Sie hier schon in Ihrer Herde haben.
Farmer Zimmer's only hope is that the patent application is denied. Worldwide, the monopolization has already long begun, silently and swiftly.
Als wenn mich das jemand gefragt hätte, vor 5 oder vor 10 Jahren, hätte ich gesagt, das ist unmöglich. Wie kann sich jemand einen entsprechenden Anspruch bloß herausnehmen? Wenn wir uns jetzt aber anschauen, in welchen Abhängigkeiten gerade in den USA die Farmer schon sind von diesem Konzern, dann ist es nicht mehr etwas, worüber man lachen kann, sondern dann ist es wirklich zum Heulen.